Alright, I was just about to start putting my bolt-ons onto the block when I realized I didn't even have an exhaust gasket. So I gotta go order an exhaust gasket and a passenger side front axle, and I'll have everything to get this car moving. I'm going to bolt everything to it as much as I can, so that way I have a head start. All right, finally got my gear in, courtesy of Ian. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate it. Freaking awesome. So glad that I was actually able to snag one of these from somebody. So we are ready to go, guys. I finally, the final last part to make this thing work. I mean, except for my passenger axle, but that's like just right down the road a couple days. Shouldn't be too long. I should have this thing thrown together. Also, my manifold gasket, which should be here like tomorrow or something, hopefully. But other than that, this is actually easy to put on when it's on in the car because there's so much room in the front. But yeah, freaking golden. I'm gonna throw this timing together real quick, and I'm gonna make that guy come and learn, even though he didn't want to. He's been having a hard time. I mean, just orders the wrong stuff all the time. Just assumes every single car is interchangeable, and it's not. Good news for me is that everything he has works for a GS300, so he can't even use any of it. So weird how things work. Right, Lane? Now come over here and learn how to do a timing. All right, she's timed, and as always, the proper timing on any 4G63, you should be able to slide this guy out and be able to reinsert it when you're done. So that's the proper way. I'm just gonna leave that in here for now until I get all the way finished. But everything is good. There's compression. It literally blows out a nice puff of air out of every cylinder. Obviously, that's still not the proper way to do a compression test, but it's clear that it's going to probably work. We'll do a compression test on it whenever it's in the car and I can turn it over with a starter. Now I'm going to put my oil filter housing on and then get my timing covers and everything on here, so that way everything's all protected. And it's basically ready to go in the car. But this car still needs to be cleaned, and I'm not putting an engine in it until it's cleaned. Finally got my gasket. So now I can pretty much well put this entire thing together, and it can go back in the car. So I just got to put my oil filter housing on, get the shields and everything, get basically everything off the floor, because everything down there will go on here. So I kind of want to bring something to light here. I actually haven't really done any inspection on the turbo. I know the turbo's fine. There's no shaft play. It spins freely. She's freaking good. It's like a new turbo. But you guys remember when I talked about this RTV stuff? Well, this looks horrible. I don't know how you even got RTV all the way up here. I don't know who you are or what you're doing, but you need never touch cars again. Also, you got it all the way up there too. So yeah, that's a no-no. I don't know who you are, man. And I hope you see this video, because that's disgraceful. For any car, I don't care what it is. That is horrible. Don't know why you're doing it. But let's never touch cars again, ever. I never want to see this again, ever. All right, proper gasket, and then the bolts have a little O-ring type gasket. They're not a crush washer. There's a rubber seal there, and it's because this bolts directly into the oil pan, and you don't want the oil to come backing out and leaking around the bolts. So this is the proper OEM gaskets from Mitsubishi, and don't be alarmed. I cleaned off most of this RTV. The sealing surfaces are clean. I just have to wire wheel the rest of this, and I can do that when it's bolted down. But turbo's mounted. Everything's all good to go. Got the lines and everything clamped up. And I just gotta tighten the oil feed. Everything is pretty dang good. I'm gonna put the AC compressor back on and get this belt back on there. And then I gotta get my valve cover, get all this wiring ran to the back, and I should be able to get it off the stand, put the trans on, and do some inspection on the engine bay. All right, you guys are not gonna believe this, but I found something not surprising. So I was checking out this, the downpipe, the little 2-bolt flange pipe here that comes off the cold side of the turbo that connects to the intercooler in the front. Now, yeah, so I was checking it out. This guy had a metal gasket that was broken. It wasn't even in there. It was like poking out. The car has a misfire. That's the problem. That's why I'm gonna get rid of it. So yeah. Also, I completely destroyed the car. There's holes in the intake, and I used some like super glue to hold in the IAT sensor and RTV on everything. Also, there's a big boost leak, also vacuum leak, because basically all the gasket is gone. All the gasket, everything. So yeah, I think it's a coil, not the bent valves, because I can't time an engine. Not the bent valves. It won't start today, so it's gonna have to be trailered. Thank you. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna have to find a gasket. I'm sure I do have one here somewhere. That's something I won't mind using RTV on. I don't use very much on intake type of deal, like anything like intake related, but I would very much rather have a gasket here because it's better, obviously. So how did you get RTV all the way over here? Oh, he just shoved the little thingy way up in there and was squeezing. All right. Dude has STM couplers, but can't work on a car, bro. I am honestly in utter disbelief on how bad this thing was. That IAT sensor, guys, that thing is horrible. Absolutely awful. Dang, she's looking good. Really don't like this clear cover, but that's literally all I have. So yeah, it needs to be pretty well buffed. It's pretty scratched up. Also, there's nothing of beauty underneath there to be shown, so I don't understand. So here we are almost ready. Before, I don't know if you guys ever spotted it, I never said anything about it, but there was all of this RTV, you guys can see, all this RTV was strung all the way around the T-case. And well, there's a seal on the inside of the T-case, and then there's an O-ring on the outside. This little ring right here. So it's a seal, and then an O-ring that sits in this groove. Well, that freaking O-ring was completely lathered in some RTV. So I don't know if it was leaking because there's a couple of, let's focus, there's a couple of like chunks missing out of it, which obviously that can cause an issue. It's still rubber, it's not like plastic or anything, it's still stretchy. But just to be on the safe side, the T-case has to be installed underneath the car anyways, so just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and order a new O-ring. This car's not going to be driving today anyways, so it doesn't really matter. I got to get a new axle, so I'll order the axle and the O-ring, and then I'll probably just order a gasket for that, the 2-bolt flange here, just so that way it's done and over with. Also, it's missing a freaking little clip, so I'll probably put a cotter key in there, so that way it's all good and ready. Alright, so did a real quick once over on it. Obviously, it's not absolutely perfect, but I did the places where it was going to be tough to get into when the engine's in, but I also did the strut towers. Not like super well, but I did what I could that would be easy to get to right now versus when the engine's in there. This bay looks way better. Now that that's all finished up, I'm gonna go ahead and take this trans out, and I'm gonna pressure wash out the bell housing because that is horrible. I just want it to be pretty. Alright. Wowee, that thing is clean now. We're freaking golden. Gotta knock out a lot of this water off the top here. So long as it's dry on the inside, which it just about is. Let's make some room up front. So we don't run into something. Got some more room in here. Sort of. Let's scoot back some more. Oh hell, we can go back some more. There we go. Now there's tons of room to put the engine in. Freaking hell yeah, let's go. All right. Clean up this mess right here, and then I think we're freaking cooking. Every single one of my cars makes a mess. It just does it, and it just has to. Even the rice box makes a mess, and it doesn't even have an engine in it. It just drips constantly from the oil that was still underneath it whenever it blew up. Got to get the hoist up there so we can get the engine off the stand. And at the very least, I'd like to get the transmission on the engine so that way it's ready to go in. Starting to get hungry and starting to get later in the day. I don't know if I want to put it in today, but it's supposed to be nice from like here on out, basically. So we are doing pretty good in that point. Right, rear main seals on. Freaking heck yeah. Starting to look really good now. We're almost there, almost there. Grab this flywheel. They do not, in fact, use a pilot bearing. A little bit different than a JZ. That was kind of annoying, but it's all finished now. Probably a couple little bolts I gotta do right here on the... Actually, there isn't. Gotta put a bolt here. This is a very important one. Make sure you guys put those in if you're doing the same thing. So, I'll grab one of these guys. It's so weird how many things I'm finding, like, just issues. Alright, so apparently it's stripped just a little ways in there, so I put a longer one in and she's good to go now. Man, it's freaking frustrating. Alright, so these next parts, everything else that goes on the back side of this will be going on when the engine is in the car. So, next I will be moving stuff out of the way here. So, gotta swing the throttle cable, just everything out of the way so we can have clear room to get this engine in there. With this, holy cow, there's just like no room. Alright, I don't want to hang this stuff over the edge here, but okay. It's gonna suck, man. I gotta figure out what the hell this guy did with some of this wiring. Pretty certain I know what he did, but at the same time, I still gotta freaking learn. Alright guys, she's in there. Finally, it's in there. It's freaking took a little bit. My phone is pretty much dang near dead and I'm about out of space. I've been filming so long. But the engine is finally in the Evo. I now have no engine sitting on stands anywhere yet, till that one comes back. But thank God, there's a couple things I'm gonna have to order because I just realized this engine mount right here is totally jacked. Like, yeah, see that? I have to order a new mount. And depends on how I feel, I might just order OEM or I will order a set of torque solution mounts. But there it is. Finally. It's in. But hey guys, I got like 5% battery right now, so I'm gonna end this video here. Hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for coming and viewing, and I will catch you guys later.